win to his name, and he's looking to pick it up here. That would be something for him.
Absolutely, and the ground of the final is much different than just playing the tournament. When you're in the final, it's like you have to be experienced there. You have to be experienced. Not only the lineup, but also the mindset is super important because that's your last opponent, and you have to be convinced you're going to win.
That's right. So we're going to start things off with the Mage versus the Paladin. It's the Freeze Mage hanging from Superjj. This is the Reno Jackson Mage, the one that we witnessed not too long ago, being able to heal for 29 health in one turn. The key condition to that is that you only have to have one copy of each card remaining in your deck, which is, of course, completely tracked by JJ. Now, the Paladin here is interesting because I think JJ is going to be banning the Warrior from StanCifka, and I'm assuming that Cifka is banning the Paladin from JJ.
Right, that's exactly what I figured would happen. I mean, the Warrior is really a tough thing for JJ to go through, just because he's counting on this Mage maybe to do some work for him. I'm not sure you want to pick up Reno that early. That's a really awkward card to have, but I mean, if you're ever in distress, and you've been able to thin your deck a lot, it might come in handy, but still a long ways away.
Probably not, because the problem with Reno Jackson is it's a 6-mana 4/6 if it doesn't have the condition on the card that's met. And for this deck specifically, I think he has 8 cards that are copied. A Frostbolt and Ice Lance, a Doomsayer, Arcane Intellect, 2 Secrets, we already said Frostbolts, Frost Nova.
Right, Frost Novas, yeah.
And then one more that I can't remember.
Double Blizzard? Don't really know.
There was one Cone of Cold. I think he plays one copy of most of the freezes. Two scientists to thin the secrets out of the deck.
Yeah, but even with scientists, he was going to get the secrets earlier, so then only one secret remains.
Right. So outside of those 8 cards, if as soon as he draws them, then he knows that he has it, and he already has one of them in the Ice Barrier. But the deck does feel a little interesting because when you see cards like Acolyte of Pain, doesn't it feel so core to how Freeze Mage draws? And like, would you really want to play like Novice Engineer and
Loot Hoarder, like just to make sure that you can draw your cards without having too many duplicates? I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing. If Reno Jackson ends up seeing play anywhere, I think it's going to be kind of the Graham Patron thing, where it's going to take a while for the kind of the standard list to settle in.
Yeah.
And once it does, you'll know what to expect.
Yeah, I think the deck is absolutely fine, and in some builds of Freeze Mage, even before Reno Jackson, people were playing one Loot Hoarder, one Acolyte of Pain, because Acolyte of Pain was not great in Fatigue Wars. So I think Reno is a great card, and we've seen him actually win JJ an almost unwinnable game last series.
You know, I do want to point this out. Outside of the Shaman and the Rogue, we have 7 classes represented here in the finals, which is really sweet. But keep in mind that you can revive at any point throughout the series. So say JJ lost against Paladin, he could just rage queue again and say, let's play Freeze Mage versus Paladin again. That's not supposed to happen. But then he'd be using his revive very early on. So there's a lot of tactics with how you're going to utilize this little life throughout the entire series.
But I still think it's an amazing... Like, this revive would actually be pretty good, because if you look at StanCifka's lineup, the Priest probably doesn't beat Freeze Mage too much. The Warlock, the Handlock, might have some trouble as well, depending on how the cards line up for the Freeze Mage.
Yeah.
And the Paladin, you know, if it goes down, the Tempo Mage from StanCifka against the Freeze Mage from Superjj could be something of a toss-up.
Yep.
There's no secrets, at least, though.
I really like the revive function in Last Hero Standing. In Conquest, when we have revive, it doesn't feel that great, because it's just, yeah, I lost with my good deck that was supposed to win versus everything, so I would like just bring it again. But in Last Hero Standing, if you lose this clutch matchup, where you should have advantage, but you still lose with your counter deck, you can actually bring your counter deck again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the longer you save the revive, the better, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Because you can use it to counter the last deck of your opponent. Although we've seen some people make some really interesting choices. I remember Orange from last SeatStory Cup used the revive very early on, I think, and still ended up winning, which is a really cool thing to see.
Did he revive the Druid?
Oh. StanCifka missed 1 damage. That's okay.
Oh. I mean, what if it turns out that he needed to not go above threshold just to pop the block at 1 health? I mean, he did say it was a misplay, but...
And then Reno Jackson.
Oh, man.
It's going to be ultimate punish.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of an interesting position that Superjj is in, because he's got the ability to use Cone of Cold and wipe the board, but the problem with that, of course, is that if you play Doomsayer now and somehow it dies, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. Like, you don't know what the secret is yet, and you have to check, because there's definitely a possibility that StanCifka is playing Repentance out of hand.
That would be so bad, right? If you just slam the Doomsayer into Repentance.
Yeah.
But then you can only test it with the Novice Engineer?
I mean, I don't even mind Ice Barrier here, but I don't know if that's something you feel like you need to do yet.
Ice Barrier would reset the board in terms of the power, but
Frostbolt on the a Frostbolt on the Secret Keeper would give you Flame Strike.
yeah, I think it's okay to just continue to even draw if you feel like you're safe enough so they can Frost Nova Doomsayer next turn. If he Frostbolts here, he's setting up for Flame Strike, like you said.
He's telegraphing though, sending a message
Right.
to StanCifka. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna Flame Strike next turn. Do what you want." Now, I don't know if StanCifka is ever gonna waste, quote unquote, the Blessing of Kings to keep the Secret Keeper alive, but he could definitely buff
That
the
redemption is
Ardent,
pretty nice.
Protector.
That redemption is pretty nice because then he can escape. StanCifka can escape the Flame Strike range.
Right.
And Belcher is also a card that actually is not affected by Flame Strike at this point.
I think it works both ways. If you end up playing Belcher and Redemption, the Redemption, and there's also Avenge, don't forget.
Right.
So Avenge could also trigger on it. But, Cifka is here is just going for immediate damage as opposed to, like, waiting for Blessing of Kings to ever get attraction. Because the thing is, one of the classic struggles is like, well, I have Blessing of Kings, but I don't have a minion to place it on that's relevant to attacking. That's why I like cashing it in now, because Sludge Belcher is 3 attack, and then Blessing of Kings is 4 attack next turn, plus the 4 here. So Frost Nova Doomsayer is what he was looking for.
Is that the 6 damage torch?
I can't tell. I'm not.
It is a bigger one, so...
Yeah, it looks like the bigger one, right? So I believe that's the 6 damage he'll need to deal with one of those 2 minions.
Then he has the Ice Lance.
Yeah, and he can... Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure... I mean, you could play Blood Mage Thalnos, Torch, just a card draw on the following turn, now that he's played the Novice, but he might feel like he needs the Blood Mage for the extra damage on Flame Strike.
I think he's just going to need to Ice Lance to stop taking damage. He's already at low teens, and that's a little too close for comfort because it might get to the point where you get Ice Barrier and then he can still pop your block without it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty frequent.
It's only dependent on Consecration, though. So it's just like you don't want to get too low where Ice Barrier is not really relevant anymore.
He's going to stop some of the damage with Ice Lance. The question is whether or not he's going to go for a ping and maybe set up for a crazy Flame Strike, or at least telegraph it again. Does that a lot. Wow.
Double Sacrifice. Another buff. Is it relevant right now? He can deal with...
It is, in the sense that he can still play around in a Flame Strike range.
Yeah, it heals for 1, basically.
Well, even more than heals for 1. It's, Noble Sacrifice here is just like a way that Avenge gets guaranteed trigger if the Novice Engineer attacks in the future. Or something else attacks in the future.
Yeah.
You absolutely want to deal with Thalnos to deny the spell damage on a possible Flame Strike as well.
One of the things, though, is that the Thanos will give JJ the ability to draw more. I mean, he's got a Blizzard for sure. He's got a Conical, I think. So if he finds any of the freezes... All right, so he does pick up another Ice Lance. I was going to say, if he picks up freezes, he's able to stall even longer for that Flame Strike.
But, stalling for Flame Strike is cool and all, but he still doesn't have a way to fully deal with the board. And until then, he's going to constantly be threatened to have his Ice Block popped. And it's going to get worse, because if he Flame Strikes and something survives, even just one thing, it'll be Avenged. And Redemption, and it's like, cool.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Frost Nova
that
is
is
so big.
absolutely insane. The question now, I mean, it wasn't Repentance last time. From the 2 secrets you saw are not Repentance.
You probably don't
You
have a
gotta
choice
take-
anyway.
you gotta
Like,
take that risk.
you just have to go for it. So he's super happy to see
The sequencing was good.
Plus,
Yeah.
he can also Ice Lance face if he needed to in a desperate situation. Now he has mana to develop Ice Barrier instead, and that gives him some room. The other option was to set up that the Doomsayer would guarantee clear almost everything, but. Yeah. Also, a little funny interaction. Mage Secrets also buffs your own Secret Keeper, so.
They do. So in theory, Ice Barrier is actually healing only 7 damage.
But the Secret Keeper is going to die.
In reality, it's 8. It's fine. So you can't do anything here as the Paladin. You might as well just whack. You can even develop True Silver Champion and hit, so that way you can... Oh, it is Ice Barrier. Never mind.
Yeah.
Probably can't do that then.
Yeah, you want to conceal the damage, probably.
Well, the problem with hitting for True Silver Champion right now is that you don't have a guaranteed way to push for lethal anyways. Or not for lethal, but for Ice Block popping. And you're giving him an opportunity to play a second Ice Barrier. So you'd rather set up a way to
do all this
to
at
go
once.
for it. Yeah.
So you pop the barrier and the block at the same time. But you need a lot of damage for that. And you're going to have to top deck like Tyrion, Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
Mysterious Challenger would also help quite a bit. It's a little clunky though, because this is kind of the situation that Paladin is supposed to be put in very often. It doesn't happen every time, but that's the position that Paladin is usually meant to be in when he's facing off against Freeze Mage.
It's such an interesting matchup because in theory, Freeze Mage has great advantage. And we've seen Paladin doing great, but right now the situation is absolutely changed. And I feel like Superjj is in control of this game.
I wonder the sequencing of Secret Trigger if Avenge happens before Redemption or after. And it looks like because it was played in this sequence that Avenge ends up landing on the 1/1 instead.
Instead of the slime, you mean?
Yeah, instead of the slime.
Because Redemption basically acts as a death rattle as far as the ordering is concerned, I think.
Okay, that makes sense. So, going back to the mage here, Flame Strike finally can have some value.
Wow.
Reno Jackson, that
Reno Jackson
frostbolt.
immediately.
No way!
Dang, 23.
Well, that's probably...
That's it.
It's
wow.
And again, after drawing the Frostbolt, right?
Damn. No, he already had Frostbolt.
No, he just got it, and he played Reno because he saw it.
He played Frostbolt on turn.
Right, he's
like-
already, that's exactly it, like this...
Yeah,
So he
already
was
played
able to play it
He was
before,
able to
okay.
play it before. It's just that
Right.
he chose to play it now. But that's a really good heal. 23 is not bad.
Does this deck work? Is Reno that viable?
Yeah,
That's actually really
in Freeze
insane.
Mage, you draw so much.
Right.
He drew his Frostbolt, his Ice Lance. He has his Ice Block out already. Ice Barrier. He played a Frost Nova.
He played
And a
and a
Doomsayer.
Doomsayer as well.
And then we're missing Tumor cards.
There's a cold, but there's only a one of.
Did a
so it
Mad
doesn't matter.
Scientist appear?
One of the early ones. The
There
first
was one
secret
Mad Scientist before, yeah.
was the Ice Block, the
And
first
then
one.
Arcane Intellect was played, so yeah, all 8.
I think the big question about Reno Jackson is it viable in the matchups that are bad? Because
Right.
if it improves the matchups that are already good,
Well, one matchup it won't help is Control Warrior.
yeah, it won't.
It's like,
Yeah.
well, I healed up to 30, and it's like, cool, I'm at 75. What's
Or
up?
like over 100.
Yeah, but more like 150 nowadays, but sure.
Yeah, changed a bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like the stats though. Like 4/6 is pretty good. It trades well with the minions. It kills Azure without problems.
Well, for 6 mana, it's not the best, but
If
It's
you
actually
heal to
pretty solid.
30 at the same time,
No, it's a pretty
Dude.
good body because it's not a 4/4, right? They could have made
Yeah.
that card really niche, like with very unique ability, but a very low stat line.
compare it to Tree of Life.
Treat it as a like better Cabal Shadow Priest when you have nothing to get out of it. That's kind of
Tree of Life heals everything. So
It's so bad.
you can heal your Ancient of War back to 10
Oh
health,
man.
too.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I was saying it was good. Look at this. He can Alex Strasler aggressively. He's so far ahead. He can do anything he wants. He's got Pyroblast,
70
Frostbolt,
damage.
and Ice Lance.
Yeah, he basically has it. There is no more. Like there is one heal, but then StanCifka will go to 17.
Actually, is lethal next turn.
Yeah, with the I was gonna say with Probable's Iceland's Flame Strike that just
Yeah.
pushes for.
Oh my God.
Oh well.
GG.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice try. And that is going to mean game number 1 goes to JJ, showing you off the power of Mr. Jackson.
Super Jackson.
But now what I want to see is this Freeze Mage against all the other decks from StanCifka. The Warrior's out, so the terrible matchup is also out. Now we have to know whether or not it works well against Priest, works well against the Handlock, and the Tempo Mage.
It
Are we
works
going to see like
fine.
4-0?
And he could just steal one. I mean, one of these things about Tempo Mage is that it opens so aggressively that maybe this Man Worm does 10 damage, and then all of a sudden you're just pushing for lethal in the final 2 turns.
It's possible, but on the other hand, I feel like Freeze Mage can actually stop the aggressive decks. Like Freeze Mage is really good versus aggro. So if you get cards like Frostbolt, and if you get that Frost Nova
Yeah.
Doomsayer early, if there is no Fireball thing to stop it, you can just destroy the hand of the tempo, like the board, and then the hand as well, because he will play everything.
Sure, but then on the other side, how scared would JJ have been if he lost his Freeze Mage versus Paladin? He'd have to revive it eventually. I mean, he'd probably go through the motions like Hunter versus Paladin and then try to queue up some games that way. But we'll see. We'll see. The series is still young.
And it's a good opening, more or less, for StanCifka. He would probably want a coin in the second Mana Worm, but having a one drop here is alright. Also, Flame Waker with the Arcane Missiles is some damage.
I really wonder how the Spellslinger can affect some stuff here.
Lotheb.
Spellslinger can't give Lotheb, but it can give Unstable
Unstable
Portal
Portal.
into Lotheb.
Right, exactly.
It also can get Flare.
It can give you Effigy, which turns your 5-drops into a Lotheb that you then get from Duplicate, that you then play.
Can we get
I don't
cards?
think we went deep enough, Noxious. Can we set up? Can we go further?
Yeah, a Spellslinger Unstable Portal gives you Effigy. Well, no, wait. Gives
you
Nefarian.
Nefarian.
Which gives you Unstable Portal, which
Yeah.
then gives you... Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Which gives
Just
you
like
another, yeah.
greater rifting in Diablo.
Jeez.
Never ends.
Well, if you're JJ, I wonder if you've just dropped Doomsayer. I was thinking about it, and I like it. Your opponent really can't do much other than burn everything to kill it.
Arcane
and
Missiles?
It's just a mana worm. So Cifka could just take this turn to maybe even just Spellslinger and get it out of the way.
I mean, there's a really good chance if he uses Frostbolt Arcane Missiles to...
Right, but is that
To
worth
get-
it at that
Wait, you can
point?
use only Arcane Missiles, hit it 3 times, then 5? No, it's not
No,
enough.
it's not enough.
No,
You have
it's
to
not
go
enough if you
Frostbolt
do
Arcane
it.
Missiles. And you do get to play, you know, a 3-drop on the following turn, but
Yeah.
the question is that worth it? You're off curve, you get
Okay.
less damage in, so
All right. Well, you know what I would want this this
get a spell.
Spellslinger would get? Tree of Life. That's what we were talking about it before. Let's see it. Let's see it, because who knows, man? Maybe that ends up being the reason he wins or loses.
Wait,
Be
like,
fun.
but Tree of Life for JJ, right? Because StanCifka doesn't want to cast Tree of Life ever this matchup.
Well,
Well-
what if he gets aggressive, like aggro down, and then has to cast Tree of Life after that?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's,
Nah.
it's probably not.
No, probably not.
What would
Well-
the craziest thing be, really?
Probably
Ice
just Flare.
Block.
Probably
Ice Block
just-
would be pretty sick.
I think Flare is probably better, but we'll see.
Oh my god.
So he chooses instead to pass and then gets Spellslinger because he wants the 3/4 on the board. That is.
But it's fine because he's gonna get...
One of the
You can buff the
worst.
minion, right?
He'll find something like a weapon at some point. He'll find Unstable Portal Blinktron and then... then...
No, actually, you're dreaming really big.
Yeah, but I have to.
A
I mean, this
higher
is...
likelihood is Spellslinger into upgrade.
That's right.
It would actually work.
Actually, he has like 2 chances with these. Oh my god. No, 3
Oh,
chances.
man.
That's 3
That's a lot
chances.
of random stuff happening.
Yeah, we don't know where this game is going.
In fact,
Neither does Stan.
5 or 6 out of the 7 cards there say random.
Come on,
it.
Blingtron.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
3
That's
damage.
damage. At some point, I'm sure this is going to come in handy.
Yeah, it can be useful in the tempo mage, but right now he doesn't have tempo.
Well, it's a matter of time. Just believe.
Hopefully.
So maybe
Right.
Spellslinger.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
More random spells.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
it
interesting
it can be
too.
relevant after Alex Strasser, right?
Lava
Like,
Shock.
Dude, the Lava Shock is
It's damage.
kind of vanilla, but the healing touch is interesting because again, with Alex Strasser in hand, you don't know if there's room to be aggressive or not until you just actually witness the Alex Strasser.
And this Blood Mage Thanos is doing a lot of work. Frostbolt first on the first Spellslinger, and now the Torch is able to get
Yeah.
more damage in. That's
Who's the
crazy.
tempo mage now? Tell me.
oh, Taurus
Oh, goodness.
on turn 6. Seems good.
That's actually a really crazy hand to reduce the cost of. That 0 cost card goes down to -1.
So many spells in Flamewaker as well. Yeah, I think it's amazing.
It's almost all spells
Yeah.
except for this 0 mana Shadow Bomber. So I say Thorson. I vote with my heart. All right, so how do you respond? You're just going to fireball it down if you're Super JJ, and you can continue to press in. I mean, realistically, you're still under no real.
You might Lava Shock
real
and trade,
pressure here.
right? Lava Shock and trade the Scientist.
Yeah, Lava Shock is also a possibility because it does 3 damage.
Yeah.
That might be more efficient so you can keep your fireball for something else more important.
Yeah, and thin the deck as soon as you can before you draw the secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want the fireball for after Alex Strasser, right?
Good point. Good
Yeah.
point. So Lava Shock ends up committing here. And, he's got Alex in 2 turns. So if you can pair together even a little bit slightly more damage,
Right
you
now,
might feel obligated to go aggressive here.
yeah. Well, I think JJ is in a good spot from his he thinks he's in a good spot because he stopped the tempo. He's not taking damage, and he has still some really good clears. The kind of called the Doomsayer. Right now, he just needs a bit more burn or some draw. Like an Arcane Intellect would be amazing. What?
By the way,
Coins are good for Archmage Antonidas.
coins are pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not going to survive much, I think.
Well, I mean, if it does, because think about the next turn, right? Assuming JJ doesn't feel like this cut burst is a priority target.
Oh, that's actually some damage he just got with that Antonidas.
That's actually a lot.
Yeah. However, the Antonidas doesn't have much. It's got coin and kind of Cone of Cold. Not really.
Yeah, for now he might not cast it on turn 7, but overall it will be useful.
Yeah.
And also something like, I don't know, the Alex Strasser, and then maybe next turn you just Antonidas Frost Nova. and you can win the game right there.
Tinkers is... I feel like it should have been played prior to...
If he was going to play Shadow Bomber, then he should have played Tinkers before it. I mean, right now, I think the way he's viewing Tinker Sharpsword Oil is just a +2 damage.
Damage, yeah.
This is sort of to test what's going to happen with what's on board here. Anticipating a ping. That Ice Barrier being played is also, or being drawn here is pretty big for multiple reasons. First, you know, he's got everything out almost, except so Reno Jackson can be played pretty soon. I don't think I remember seeing Arcane Intellect though. And then the second is, you know, being able to get that extra health is really big against Tempo Mage if they're trying to press him.
Yeah. But now StanCifka is not going to lose the Flame Waker. He's got what he's got what he needs to actually kill it immediately.
Yeah, that is almost a guaranteed clear. Oh man,
that's a lot.
Oh, do you go for the Sorceress here? You'll be able to pass the
Why not?
flame cannon. Yeah, I like it.
Why not?
It's really unlikely that you don't kill it. If you when you have Frostbolt with it as well.
Well, if you don't kill it, you can Frostbolt for sure. Right?
Okay. He doesn't want to overcommit with to Flame Strike.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
He's trying to be very cautious with not overextending into Blizzard or Flame Strike at all. I think that's kind of the right play though, because there's really no way for Superjj to avoid at some point clearing the board, and the more you have, the more you lose.
Yeah, it's really good because he actually doesn't have the follow-up. Like, if he gets hit by a Blizzard or Flame Strike, like, he has nothing in hand.
That's it, yeah.
Right.
Is that the 6 damage charge? I think it is.
Seems like this is the big one, yeah.
So you coin out Alex and just...
I'm not sure,
Is that
though.
too all-in? That's the question.
I think you don't need to be that all-in, considering that you have Reno and you have
Oh,
Antonidas.
yeah, you could go Archmage, Coin, Torch if necessary at some point, assuming you don't Torch the Drake, which would be really reckless.
You think it's reckless to
Not
use
torch.
the torch?
No, to not use
torch.
it, yeah.
I think you can Fireball, save the torch.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You can maybe just Fireball and Ice Barrier this turn.
Yeah, right. Just you have to deal with the Drake. You're right. Actually, Fireball is a lot better since you do get to curve with the Archmage on 9 with the Coin Torch.
Well, you do know that he has 2 spells on Spellslinger, so maybe the Flamewaker has higher priority too. I don't know. Flamewaker's like +2 spell damage, and then Flamemaker and Dredger Drake is +1. So technically, it's like net even because Flamewaker has +2 and Drake has +1.
I would go
It
with
looks like
Flamemaker.
I think he's just gonna remove both. Is he or not? Okay, he's killing the Flamewaker, as you said, the extra spell damage from it.
Flamewaker is much better to remove because what can happen on turn 9 is like Arcane Intellect into a lot of spells, and you're just getting like 8 damage out of nowhere.
It's a time to oil for +3 damage.
Yeah, I mean that's a bit tricky because you almost don't want to do it yet, but you're absolutely forcing JJ.
Ah,
That's a bit unfortunate.
never lucky.
I mean, there's no way for JJ to kill it aside from a torch. So for StanCifka, unless there's a Flame Strike being top deck, it's fine for now, or Frostbolt even. But
It's his wasted damage, like
Right.
3 more.
Sure,
He's really saving
but he's
this cut
spreading.
push or something.
He's spreading his damage. Like in the case of spot removal, this is better. Oh, that's it. All right. No AOE or bust.
Well, he's seen that his opponent used Cone of Cold already. And there's only 1 Flame Strike in the deck. Acolyte is not what he wanted to see here.
Can you draw something? No, you'll have only 5 mana left, so...
He would rather have seen Arcane Intellects. I think that's the final missing piece for Reno Jackson to be able to get played here.
Do you still go for... Could you just go for Archmage, Coin Torch on something? Because you do have the Ice Block, and you're forcing a trade. Is that just not enough damage output, and you get getting blown out by Dr. Boom coming out, let's say?
That actually might be the play. Depends
I don't know. It's
depends on how much damage remains, but he knows that Mage is holding 1 more spell from Spellslinger, and that's the final card.
Yeah.
If he ends up going for Antonidas Coin Torch on, say, the Mana Worm, there's 9 damage on board, and that's not enough to pop the Ice Block. Even if he had Fireball, he'd still be safe, I think.
Yeah, it looks pretty good here.
Oh no, he'd be popping one. Yeah. So he'd have to bet that like his opponent didn't draw a Fireball, but I think you do torch the Mana Worm here.
Yeah, but even if he pops the block, then you have Alexstrasza and you have Antonidas on board as well. So
Yeah, you're forcing a trade on Antonidas, that's for sure. Unless he can kill you through the Ice Block.
Sure, makes sense.
So you're forcing him to take it a bit slower than he might like. Yeah, that's a bit difficult.
So you can't pop the Ice Block, and you have to deal with the Antonidas.
That's the worst of both worlds, basically.
It's really bad for Stanislav.
Man.
Do you lose the cut purse and keep the 3-2? Because you really don't need the extra coin that the cut purse could give, do you? Or do you
it might be useful for Flame Waker. It's like 2 damage.
Tinnitus heal?
No, he has his own tinnitus, so it's definitely smarter to get the coin here. You could use almost any card that you get, realistically. And you know what? I mean, that healing touch does negate some of that damage.
It might actually be the extra heals. Oh.
Oh,
Well, okay.
You still Snama like Straza here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're setting up for... You're forcing him again to deal with your board, and you have an extra 12 damage.
And he can't deal with
Drake's
the board
good.
for now. It's only 6 damage, 7. Needs one more.
Fireball would do it.
Arcane Intellect, not... He can still cast it.
He might find a Frostbolt, and that will also do it. Or sacrifice the Yeti for some kind of clutch freeze.
But then he has to heal as well, because he can be facing... He knows there is double Fireball in hand. So if there's like a Frostbolt...
I mean, he might, like, if he uses Arcane Intellect and whiffs, he can still trade the Yeti in for a freeze, and then coin out the freeze and healing touch himself.
Alright, so he needs a spur part.
Yep.
And...
That is not what he's looking for.
Yeah, that's not helping here. So he can't deal with Alex Straza.
He can switch his health.
He could attack and get another coin. Would that do anything?
Not
Could he play
really.
Darkbane? No, he couldn't. I was going to say, could he play Darkbane and then switch it up, deal damage to Alex with a ping, but he doesn't have enough mana.
He will have enough, right? Because he will get...
yeah, but he only deals 3. He doesn't attack Alex afterwards, so she only takes 3 damage.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So
He can set her attack much lower, though.
And he has to heal himself.
he does. He absolutely has to. Oh, wow. Stan, don't wait for the rope.
The coin healing touch. What is JJ going to think about that? He's like, well, I see your healing touch.
And I raise.
And I raise you a Reno Jackson if he draws Arcane Intellect. Unless he may have drawn it already and I'm miscounting.
I don't think
he
I've
did.
seen it.
There it is,
I don't
okay.
think I've seen it.
He's going for the Arcane Intellect Reno Jackson play.
No,
he will not have enough mana.
He can just Frost Nova.
How much damage is it?
It's 15.
It's 15 damage.
19 over 2 turns. So,
yeah.
Well, he's still in a great position anyway.
Yeah, with the especially with the Nova, that like protects the board, and it also means that his opponent's got the ice block still to go through.
Right.
StanCifka's got pretty much everything to go forward. He doesn't have the ability to get any more spellsling or RNG that could win the game, so it's really all down to the cards in his deck.
Ping Acolyte is fine too here. And then just push for damage. And then you set up lethal. Although...
Pretty convincing lethal.
Interesting. Trying to keep his Novice Engineer alive.
The pre-nerf Novice.
Ha! Just like the old times. Alright, so 7 damage on the Alex. I guess you just gotta draw with the Arcane Intellect.
Yeah,
that's all you got here.
What has he even got?
Is there anything
Flame
that should help
Strike,
here?
maybe?
A Frostbolt, maybe? I don't know. Frostbolt would stall one more turn.
Well, actually, if he kills Alex, he's not dead yet.
Right.
Because there is 70 damage incoming.
Yeah.
So you fireball down the Alex.
Maybe you throw down minions as well.
Yeah, you play the Sorcerer's Apprentice, maybe. It's all really relative right now, just because in the grand scheme of things, he might be just stalling the inevitable, but he's got to try. He's got to go for it.
The Clockwork's good because you get the spare part. You can use an Ida's Darkbane perhaps later. I feel like playing it now gives you a guaranteed use for Idas if you ever end up playing her.
I think he's banking on drawing Antonidas because he refused to use the coin here.
Yeah, makes sense. And he will get this spare part as well.
Yeah. Still no AoE for Superjj. Not that he really needs it, but it's kind of interesting.
You know, Reno still has to wait on the bench. There's still not an opportunity to play it. He'd love to play it now.
Well, with that Iceberry, he will have time to actually draw into that Arcane Intellect.
It's true. He might ping his Acolyte. He might, and then go for... But I think it's still unnecessary based on what you said. He could just play Ice Barrier and play it slow. Maybe he can also just commit damage. It's 15, 17, 18 damage. Actually 19 if he just does a ping over 2 turns. He could fireball twice, ping, and then attack
fireball
the phase, and then
Frostbolt,
save
yeah.
Frostbolt for the kill.
Exactly.
He could have gone for a 2-turn lethal if he really wanted to be really aggressive.
Maybe he just wants the swag points of replaying Reno for the 3rd game. He's like, 3 games in a row, that sounds
Reno
like...
your opponent to death.
Actually, I would not really hate playing Reno this turn as well. Just as a beatdown character, like a 4-6.
Sure, but it's insurance in case things go wrong somehow.
Oh! That's the card he's
That
looking for.
is insane!
That is a great card.
And he's got another spell with it too, by the way.
He can actually coin, get the fireball, and then fireball if he wants to.
And he doesn't have to go through Ice Barrier anymore.
Right, that's the one thing he's got to go through. And what if he just doesn't attack? Like, he
really
keeps the
gonna do
fireballs
this?
for next turn, like, he just double fireballs next turn.
And he can also play Darkbane to start pushing through burn 2. Like, he can play Darkbane, coin, and then Rusty Horn.
Right, and that's like 6 more damage, 3 more damage coming in, and maybe another 3 next turn.
So you deal with the minions not to take any more damage yourself.
Wow.
You get a taunt, that's pretty good.
And it shoots for 3, maybe on the Acolyte?
Face.
Doesn't really matter.
Well, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, you're not going to be... Because the only thing is, maybe you wanted the ability to attack.
Oh wow, this is...
Wow.
Wait, what?
So
Okay.
that's Fireball Frost. That's 17 damage. That's 19 damage.
So you double fireball ping face.
Oh, he's got Reno now.
As well.
Here we go.
He's going to play him!
Here we go.
Super Reno Jackson.
What did he say, by the way, in his animation?
I don't know.
What's his
I'm healing you to
sound?
full, friend. I don't know.
We just found a jewel.
Is that what he says?
I don't.
I'm
I
gonna
have no
say
idea.
no to both.
Okay.
But
I just found healing.
A for effort. You guys got to really. You guys.
I don't know.
I would hire you over myself for voice acting.
Oh, I'm sure
for some
you
of
would.
Hearthstone cards. I actually can't do voice acting at all. If
Really?
you need any proof,
What?
watch the in crowd.
You do the... Oh, okay. Well,
Wow,
you did great.
Reynad, this house looks great. Come
Shots
on.
fired at yourself. You do a great Trump impression, Froden.
He does good impressions of accents and like the accents for sure, and the attitude, the general
need to save
tone.
it.
But
It's okay, guys. It's
we're not
okay,
saving
guys.
it for it.
It's all right. It's okay not to save my feelings. But no matter what he does,
He's
is
dead.
dead.
Yep.
But he came pretty close, all things considering. It's like...
Without that, I mean, he would have won still
Yeah.
over 2 turns, but without like the exact ice lands to set up the next turn, maybe
Yeah.
he might have not found what he wanted.
I think this game also showed how good Reno Jackson is again. Because he came close, but Reno Jackson absolutely seals the game.
Do you remember when I was saying that Healing Touch might give StanCifka a chance? It didn't,
Right.
but it brought him closer to a potential chance.
Tree of Life though would have probably been quite good.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure if it would have done the entire. It would have won since you are healing your opponent and giving him a Reno.
Well, I, for one, welcome our new free...
Some of them said like Freeze Mage was actually a terrible choice for this tournament.
Right. Well, it's funny because everybody says that, and then they bring Warrior, and their Warrior gets banned, and like exactly like Freeze Mage is brought, and it forces people to bring Warrior. So
Well,
it's kind of
Cifka doesn't have Druid. That's the big fatal
Right.
flaw. I think Druid is still pretty decent. Like, it's... Before Reno Jackson, all things considered, I think Freeze was maybe 30-70 against Druid, or maybe 25-75. But now with Reno, maybe it gets slightly better, like 35.
And the Torch
maybe
really
40.
helps a lot because it does give you like 6 damage for Drill the Claw. Fireball did that, but now it's a bit cheaper. And you also get the initial 3 to kill something like an Aspirant if you don't have the Frostbolt.
Reno Jackson the Druid is so funny. It's like, oh, you got me in combo range. No, you didn't.
Yeah, pretty much. Or you comboed me down to 1 for Ice Block, and then I just go back up to 30. And, you know, I froze your board too.
So how many tree ends do you have? Yeah. All right. It's a great card. I'm happy they made it.
This is a really good opening hand from JJ if his opponent was Zoo, but it's not that good against Handlock. I guess he has Scientist at least and Loot Hoarder, but definitely wants to hit some of his other cards like Arcane Intellect, Novice, Acolyte.
That's interesting. Would you consider Owling to deny the ability? Like next turn maybe?
Probably not.
Just to deny the thinning of the deck so that Reno just never works and he never finds his secrets.
Reno's not really a problem for Handlock. Handlock is
Doomsayer
more
would
of a slower deck and just wants to pressure. So like, a Giant can make up for Reno very easily.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's
right.
like you have to deal with this 8 health, 8 attack threat.
I think what's important in this matchup is not Reno, but a Torch. Because that's like a second Pyroblast kind
That's
of.
right. I mean, yeah, over time it could add up with the amount of life tabs that the Warlock inflicts on itself. That's right. Oh, Nova Doomsayer is already there, but there's double Owl in StanCifka's hand.
Yeah, that's what you want to owl. You don't. I mean, you silence the Mad Scientist if you really sense that. Like, say if you're an aggro deck and you really don't want it to like get an ice barrier, or at the very final moments of a game, and you really want to be able to pressure and not have him draw a secret.
That's a lot of pressure, by the way. The StanCifka's putting.
Boom.
Like denies the ice barrier in 1 stroke.
Yep. And then anticipate Twilight Drake coming out here. This is the strongest, although...
You could play... Would you like to get Jiraxis right? That's the question. If you're going to consider the Void Caller. Alright, so he's playing around Fireball here, I think. He's setting up so the Mad Scientist doesn't hit the Giant into Fireball. He wants to get an extra 8.
Yeah, that's interesting considering that he could have done that last turn too, but he's just taking advantage of knowledge based off what his opponent's been doing. And with that Frost Nova, it's not going to do much. I would like some style points. Instead of silencing the Doomsayer, I think you'd silence your own Giant and kill the Doomsayer.
Yeah, I think that's all right.
Yeah, because you remove the minion from Dr. Boom hits if you do end up playing it later.
Yeah, you don't want the minions on board for your opponents. So if you silence, what else do you do? Do you maybe just Twilight Drake just to build up a bigger board? You have a second silence for a
absolutely. Silencing the Doomsayer and leaving it up, I don't really see much value in doing that. Compared to just silencing. Ooh!
Don't hit the Twilight.
Careful, man.
Would you like a 4-1 Drake?
Careful, Stan.
Watch out. Maybe he's just shaking from all the Renos.
Maybe he just wanted to owl casters.
Well, he's going to need a much bigger owl. 3 of them, in fact.
Yep.
Superjj doesn't really have a way to deal with it. And, you know, interestingly enough, StanCifka didn't play around Cone of Cold with his positioning.
Yeah, the owl would have had to be... I mean, I guess where would you have to be? The Drake on the left, right?
He would have played on the far left, and then he would have even put the owl between them, so that way you basically separate the 2 biggest threats as much as possible with Cone of Cold.
But still, the Cone of Cold doesn't do that much.
Well, it stalls.
It stalls. It heals for 12. That's not bad.
That's good.
Well, yeah, like it gives you 1 more turn.
Well, that's good, right? You're looking for all the turns you can get at this point.
He's looking for Flame Strike mostly, right? He doesn't have it now.
I mean, the thing is, you can't draw with the Acolyte if you go for this. Could you ever bear just taking the damage and trying to like set up for draw, or can you just do that next turn?
You're asking to get low-thebbed and then lose
the game. Yeah, that's what I figured. All right. Well, down goes the owl. Poor little guy. Didn't do much.
What? He killed the Doomsayer. He lived the dream. Every owl from the moment it's born is given like a picture of Doomsayer at birth and said, "This is your target."
I thought it was the Drake. Or the Belcher.
Nope, the Doomsayer.
Okay. Sure.
Handlock's in a really good spot. Thinking about maybe even just owling and unsilencing, but I think that's ambitious. Maybe just go for a tap and the Sludge Belcher. Emperor Thorson hasn't come down yet, so you're not afraid of getting wombo comboed through a bunch of cheap spells and Thalnos. And you have the heal bot if things get dicey.
Yeah, he's in a great position. So just putting more power on board is absolutely fine.
All right, so you can do that, or you can maybe develop, like, if you tap into stuff, you can, like, develop Void Caller so Draxus comes out. I don't know how realistic Draxus ever becomes, like,
as a 15 health, like a recovery tool.
Well, 15 health
sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, Draxus for healing is rare because Freeze Mage can just piece together 3 spells and kill you anyways at 15. Yeah. So maybe as a 315 minion, it's more valuable.
Oh, wow. All right, that's the draw that he needed to stay safe for at least 1 more turn. Flame Strike didn't really do that much.
He can also Ice Dance if he really wants to.
Like ping, finish off the Giant next turn.
Is there anything else he can do? Like, if he, for example, just kills the Giant with the Fireball.
The Fireball ping and then take some of the damage next turn, and then Blizzard with a ping. And then maybe set up an Axtros at a face, and then if there's no heal bot. I mean, that's a bit ambitious.
Like,
that's really ambitious, though.
Realistically, there is 9 damage incoming if he kills the Giant.
Right. And 9 you can probably deal with. It's not that much.
And like Blizzard is gonna take the whole turn.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I still think it's a little bit too much damage. I agree with this.
Okay.
Well, Molten Giant's not really that relevant now.
Right. It's kind of a problem against Freeze Mage where usually when you're able to play the Molten, you're probably dead. Whereby you rarely get low enough on health where the Mage can't abuse it and maybe piece together the spells that he needs to kill you. I don't know.
Oh, second healer is pretty good as well.
Yeah, if Alexstrasza ever comes down, you're back to full. That's going to be really tough for JJ.
Still is, but it's not unlosable. Frost Nova can still change things.
Oh, this Alexstrasza looks...
He actually has enough damage to just start burning his opponent down. But...
One heal bot will be played,
Yeah.
but that's it. So if you go Fireball, Frostbolt, Ice Lance, you still can't play the Pyroblast next turn. So you'd have to at least stall a bit more, ping something.
Forgotten Torch.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are you going for like Acolyte, Pink,
I don't know.
Frost Nova?
You got 9 damage, Frostbolt. Wait,
You might Forgotten Torch.
Frostbolt, Ice. Yeah, Forgotten Torch looks like it would actually give you lethal if there's no heal bot. Because you can do it over 2 turns, but the amount of damage coming in after that is ridiculous.
I changed my mind. I think I just want to
Yeah.
fire. I think I want to Fireball Threat, Ice Lance, and play
exactly.
like Acolyte or something. I don't know. I hate this position.
I
as
think
a
you're
freeze
right. I think you're right though.
The thing is, like, if you feel like you're gonna lose to this board, you probably need to unload damage.
mage. Oh, he's going for it.
Oh my god. Alright, so he's doing the midway play, right? So he's banking on the extra ping. The extra 1 damage is actually crucial if you calculate the Torch, the Frostbolt,
Yeah.
and the Ice Lance.
Except this is like the least sneakiest lethal of all time.
Yeah. It's
He's
like,
like-
I've got cards that can kill you.
I had to
what
do
the
something
heck?
with my torch, so I put it in your face.
He didn't ping any. He didn't even ping the 2-1, right?
No,
So
didn't mind.
he couldn't be more obvious.
But it doesn't pop the block yet, right? This is like 10, 20.
Yeah. He changed his username to Super Obvious. Boom.
But now he gives his
Roasted.
opponent a card draw because he didn't want to play the Owl, given that he absolutely needed to.
Yeah.
But the thing
Hey,
is,
Frost Nova Doomsayer is actually pretty good in this position, but he doesn't have it.
Fireball. What is he looking for?
Oh, wait, never mind. He would Shadow Flame.
oh, Frost Nova.
Frost Nova, Frostbolt, and Ice Lance. Oh, that's maybe because the Ice Lance can't be played otherwise. The Nova though lets you maybe fetch for that lethal. Alex Straza is probably not gonna work. Alex Straza is damaged though, right? Like you could play Alex. And
Alex might be his
He's
best
going
chance.
for it. Well, he's seen one heal bot, and the board is full, so he will not be able to play
Yeah,
the
he
heal bot.
can't play heal bot. You have
Interesting.
to Nova and deal damage because you
And
get
then-
Pyroblast off guaranteed.
Look, the Jiraxis actually does become used. Oh, no, he can't. There's
No,
not
he
enough
can
minions
play
on
it.
board.
Not enough.
So he has
Yeah.
to Shadow Flame a minion and then play Heal Bot.
Heal bot, yeah, you have to Shadow Flame something. So you-
Anything's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, you Shadow Flame...
not the Belcher.
no, maybe the Void Caller?
Get
If you
Draxus
haven't-
out, but you can't play heal
Nah,
bot.
you don't
then.
want... Yeah, it's probably not. Maybe if you had Mal'Ganis.
Shadow Flame the heal bot. I mean the 2-1, why not? If it doesn't die.
That is pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean this is like there's no way heal bot comes down. So that's definitely a line of play that makes JJ win, assuming
Frost Nova.
Interesting.
It also
That's
buys
an
him one
F15
turn.
again.
now StanCifka's probably gonna spot the Shadow Flame heal bot. I doubt he doesn't, right? It's one of the most obvious. Wait, is this a game where Jiraxis might be a recovery tool, assuming the second or the third wave of damage?
It's possible because
almost
there's a
certainly will
Pyroblast. Yeah.
When your opponent wastes so much burn on your face, and he's probably going to use Alex Straza defensively based off this, and that's less burn they have to worry about.
Archmage, Frostbolt, Ice Lance.
Yeah, that's
Instead of the Pyroblast.
that's interesting as well.
Guaranteeing you a turn 10 to just...
deal 5.
Right, but the second heal bot's really crushing, I think. And then if you get low enough, you still have Jiraxis for that little heal, and you might still get Mal'Ganis. And you might still get Loatheb if you're playing it, but I'd probably not.
Archmage, Frostbolt, Ice Lance gives you 2 fireballs. You've got Blood Mage, so that's 14 damage instead of the 15 you might need against Jiraxis.
What if he just Pyroblasts now? No,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
He'd have to top deck another Ice Lance. Would that even work? I don't think it would, no. Because he'd be getting 12, 13 out of the Blood Mage.
What if he gets Reno Jackson?
It might not matter. Look how much pressure's on the board.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That's
Are you?
I'm trying to count the damage.
There's 32 damage just on the board.
There's a Reno Jackson that does nothing on the board.
Damn it. StanCifka is countering Reno Jackson perfectly.
I mean, that Shadow Flame on into the heal pot was probably the play that's like, Jay's like, no! Like, you just need not to have those cards specifically.
What if, maybe one of the things that Superjj is banking on here is I get Ice Block off the top with the Archmage, then I get the Fireball and I finish it off with the Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Fireball in one turn alongside the Blood Mage.
In theory, okay, so this is 9 damage, right? 10 damage with the ping.
Yeah. I think StanCifka might even be benefiting if he just like Shadow.
He can
Dark
get the
Bomb,
torch.
If he Dark Bomb one of his minions.
You mean one of his demons? Or anything? Like any of his minions to make sure that Jiraxis can work on the board
Yeah,
next turn. So
actually
you kill like the heal bot or something.
Specifically not his demon, because
Yeah.
he needs Jiraxis to be in the hand.
So you killed the heal bot.
So I think you kill a heal bot. And then so that way you have Jiraxis. Oh, okay. Trusting in the fact that his opponent won't get the damage.
And that's a
Oh!
No way.
Unbelievable!
He even had Thanos, so that way he overkills him.
Just overkill for safety.
He-
Do it.
Guns damage.
Jeez.
He's doing mathematics. Oh
Yeah,
my
Torch
God.
was a great out.
This freeze mage is wrecking.
It's so good.
Top decking and wrecking.
With double heal bot, StanCifka didn't have
Oh.
enough. Cover as a mechanic. I think it's pretty good.
Well, we have just touched the tip of the iceberg, but we might be coming to a conclusion soon. It's a best of 9.
A revival is right now, actually. This
Oh,
is,
it is.
This is the revival. I think this is a revival from Stan. He's gonna replay his tempo mage against the freeze mage.
He doesn't want to play priest versus the
Nope.
freeze mage. Says, this is my best chance, but you know what could happen?
It doesn't win.
He could. I mean, JJ can just even let this happen, go through and win with other stuff, and then use freeze mage at the final against priest.
As a revival against priest, as a guaranteed out.
Right.
Freeze Mage has 2 lives. How
That-
awesome is that?
Now it has more than
It
that.
already had more than that with
Exactly.
ice blocks.
I'm like ice block,
And
ice block,
Reno
Reno,
Jackson.
Alex Straza. What is going on?
And yeah, it's just he won't ever die.
The immortal.
The first portal drops and it's a...
Oh, that's
Wow.
good.
That's so sick.
That is insane.
Dude, the second unstable portal will grab a Spectral Knight.
If it does, this is gonna be.
If it does, Noxus will run naked down the street.
Right.
Nexus already wanted to cast naked.
I never said that.
You wanted to cast
Well,
the
that's
towel.
awkward.
Although this is pretty good though. The outcome here of the mad scientist really gives. If he didn't draw the scientist, he would have had. Oh!
Whoa!
All right.
You normally do not expect that to happen.
I don't
See,
expect.
here's the kind of the funny thing. It's like you might be able to sense the excitement of what's going on here for some of these players. They can't really hear stuff, but you can definitely sense when people are excited. But it's like you with an unstable portal being played, you literally have no idea what can happen.
If there's
you,
a top deck,
you can't play around
Right.
anything. It's
Yeah, it could have been a Reno Jackson, and we would have the same
that's
reaction.
So funny.
that would have been great though.
Reno Jackson.
Oh, I just Dark Bane, and then you cure him into turn 4 with Arcane End. Right?
I do think that Draxus might not even be that good though. It's like
You can't really play it.
it's like
It's only
deal
15.
15 damage to yourself.
Yeah.
Change your hero power. It's like a really bad Justicar Trueheart, if you in a way.
Yeah, it's mostly unlikely that Freeze Mage will put you to like 9 health and then be like, yeah, I have my
Yeah.
Pyroblast to win.
Yeah.
It
But
does happen though.
It can happen, yeah.
Yeah. See, this is funny.
Nimsh,
Well, I mean, I think from this position, you still want to have Dark Bane at least on live on the board.
yeah. Now the 2-1 Loot Hoarder really
Yeah.
doesn't allow you to play the draw that you might have wanted. Plus, you also get
Right.
the added benefit of Mana Worm buffs if you play it subsequently.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that he is playing Aegis Darkbane, such a great card.
One of your favorites, right?
Yeah, I played it a lot.
Well,
Great voiceover as well for the card.
Yeah, a lot of filters.
JJ choosing to go for Acolyte Ping. Oh, okay. Acolyte and Thanos to get his draws going. He's got a lot of draw, which is really nice. That's exactly what you want to see early on.
Yeah, one of the things that playing the Acolyte and the 1-1 does, what it does is it forces the Tempo Mage to not attack you and rather attack your cards.
Yeah.
Although, I think in a way maybe not playing Blood Mage, instead pinging your Acolyte might have been better, because maybe the Acolyte gets attacked by Idis, but then the Mana Worm triggers your first Ice Barrier, making it so you can play the second one as soon as possible, assuming you top deck it.
Stun going for the draws.
Okay.
Nothing really too exciting here.
Yeah, but I think what is exciting is that he's going to start getting spare parts with Antonitis. And if you get the Finicky Cloak field, that can also flip this game upside down.
Yeah, I mean the double Ice Lance with Frostbolt is already a lot of damage in Superjj's hand. Oh my god.
I think that means Reno Jackson is live.
Already.
I think. Because
wait,
he has Ice Barrier, Ice Block
Torch.
already out. And
That's
he's
pretty
got
soon.
Frostbolt, Ice Lance,
No, it's
Arcane,
already live.
Doomsayer, Mad Scientist. And the last one is... We're always forgetting one.
Well, the Scientist was played. The Secrets as a copy. The two Secrets, for sure. The Torch and 1 Fireball. I can't imagine we're forgetting
I think
anything.
he is. I
he's
think
got it
Reno
all.
Jackson's always live.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it doable to kill it right now? It's probably is. You need 5.
You could get a spare part
You need the-
reversing switch. You attack with the Clockwork Gnome and you ping it. I mean, assuming you don't pick up a fireball or flame
no,
cannon.
it's
well,
absolutely
never
doable
mind.
now.
Wow.
Never mind that.
That's easy.
That is really doable. And
Flame Waker? Or
Flame Waker is gambling.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to Flame Waker, especially because you're playing into Flame Strike next turn. So
Yeah,
you want to deal with it right now with the ping and Flame Cannon.
Don't overcommit, I think, at this point. You already know that your board is gone.
what you can do is play a second Clockwork Gnome so you can get that spare part.
I like that a lot. I think that's actually pretty cool.
Dude, he's going to be able to get like Antonidas, and if these Sorcerer's Apprentice sticks, Fireballs are 2 mana.
Oh, my
Forgotten Torch, who needs them?
It's kind of like Exodia again. Well, not
Yeah,
really.
we're missing the
because-
Echo of
Yeah.
Medivh, but we're close enough.
Yeah, I like this play. Killing this, pinging, and then playing the Clockwork Gnome. That's good. Good stuff. Back over to JJ. What you got? Do you have your Flame Strike?
Do you have any AoE, even if Frost Nova to stall a
Blizzard.
bit, anything.
Still good.
All right, he's gonna fetch for the Nova. I mean, even if he doesn't find anything, he's probably going to be. Oh, wow. All right.
Nova is pretty good.
Do you Nova though? Like you might maybe.
I mean, the Emperor Thorson in a hand like this is really good, and there's no way StanCifka's committing more than he already has on this board. There's absolutely no way, unless he feels like Archmage is good, just because Flame Strike doesn't deal with your board, and if he deals with the Archmage, then the rest of your board stays alive, so you can punch for damage. But it looks like a really risky play when you've got 2 spare parts coming out.
I mean, I wonder. It's very clear he didn't have Flame Strike, so I wonder if you can Flame Waker, Fireball, and Frostbolt to face here.
For
Would that be
pure
giving
damage
up almost
output.
all your spells? However, you do get 2 more with Clockwork Gnomes.
So you have something for Antonidas for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about a really creative play? You ping your own Clockwork Gnome so you can get some spare part for next turn.
I actually think that's all right.
No, it's a
But you might as well just-
play. Not-
No, I mean, what's all right about it is that if the mage doesn't deal with your board at all, like if he doesn't let you play, right?
It's true.
He's already played 2 Novas though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. He can't do that because I was
Yeah.
gonna say Nova is the only like fringe play that couldn't enable this, whereby you really need a spare part immediately.
Yeah, I like this play the most, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was the best. I was thinking about Antonidas just to put more pressure on them.
Wow. All right.
JJ is a pretty good freeze mage, I have to say.
Wait for spare parts.
Nope.
Oh.
Not really.
You play Jiraxxus and then you
Freeze
Tamper
your
Wind
own.
it. Yeah, freeze your own weapon.
Freeze your own. No.
What?
Flame Waker. No, I mean JJ should do this, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like not
Poor
like
Flame
this.
Waker, right?
Not
Didn't
like
have much
this.
to live.
interesting. Interesting.
You
We
see-
have a
wait.
very interesting set of mounts. He could set a 6/6, but he would die to Frostbolt, Iceland's Fireball and stuff.
And stuff.
Yeah, and stuff. The thing about Antonidas is you can't really get the fireballs. You just have to emergency
You can
cool it
rewind
yourself.
it though, right? No, you just rewind the art and the Antonidas and replay it afterwards.
Yeah, so kind of
And then you can go
Oh.
Archmage, Sorcerers, Emergency Coolant, get
Alright.
another one.
So you
All right,
cycle you
Noxious.
cycle it into a fireball, right? Because
Right.
yeah.
Okay, Noxious. I don't mind. I don't mind that.
You don't mind it?
The thing is, he wants to also ping, so that way he can get to like 2 turns, so to speak.
Instead of the one.
Yeah. So Fireball face, ping, and then just chill.
With
Sure.
the Emergency Coolant.
Now back over to JJ. He still doesn't have a way to win the game. He still has ways to try to stall and survive.
Oh, that's a way to really put a lot of pressure in his own hand if he finds...
Still no Reno.
But you can play the Archmage after the Emperor, and that's forcing StanCifka to have the answer, which right now is going to have to be an Archmage Fireball, which he can't play... Oh, wow. Never mind.
Well, I mean, it's still not an ice block pop.
It's
He
not
has
an ice block
ice barrier. He can freeze this.
It's still alright though.
He can also Frostbolt to convert that into a fireball, which I think he might want to do.
But the problem if you do that is that you still... Because you don't pop the block, nothing feels good.
Do you want to get another fireball maybe?
Yeah, you fireball the not the Antonidas, the Thorson, and then trade it off.
Yeah. Can you maybe want to time rewind the 3-2 if there is an Extraza coming? Not really. Like I'm thinking if he responds to like Extraza, do you want to have
More
15 damage?
I see.
Somehow to pop the block after?
I think you want to invest as much damage or try to get as much damage as possible in case he has Reno. That's just like Reno blows you out, man.
Yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
if he goes back full health...
So change everything to fireball.
But in a very weird case where Freeze Mage is all out of damage,
And no heals.
Jiraxxus can put a nail in the coffin, but I'm still thinking that card's not going to do much this game.
Looks good, though.
Yeah. He's got to go fast.
So he's not going to trigger.
So he's trading it into a fireball. That's
Yeah, of
really good.
course.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't even care.
Yep.
He's going to play the Sorcerer's Apprentice next turn, or he's just going to fireball. Yeah, he can just play it next
Yeah,
turn.
but look at what Superjj's got. He's got the Archmage for
got
6, the
Antonidas.
Fireball, the Frostbolt, the Ice Lance, a billion
Right.
damage, and another Ice Block.
But-
So
I don't know.
He
I
has,
don't know
like,
what's going to happen.
Three more
could
turns.
Jiraxis work right now? There's no way because you die immediately over 3 turns. You'd have
Right.
to get a crazy portal. But you're still dead over 2 turns. So whatever happens, you think you've lost. Oh.
Spell Slinger is interesting. It can bring something unexpected.
Well, it has to, because at this moment, right now,
Yeah.
StanCifka's dead.
Here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go.
He's gotta try.
Oh!
FPG
No.
not really. Savage Roar for JJ.
I don't know. I was feeling
The flare,
a flare.
man,
I was
yeah.
feeling a flare.
Or a portal into Kazan, and then you steal. Nothing,
Flare would be
really.
hilarious.
Would it?
still the
That's
block.
funny, right? See?
That is kind of hilarious. No, you can fireball the Antonidas here, and then he fireballs him 3
You know,
times.
if you
and he
play the
dies.
secret, does Superjj play around it in a way that somehow
It can be
is
Ice Block, right?
subpar? Yeah, that's the question. Like, does Superjj ever mess up? Like, is there a world in which this
I don't know
happens?
about that, man. He can try for the mind games elements, but JJ will definitely try it because he still has Ice Block, so he has this room for error, and he still gets 3 fireballs. So I think he is smooth sailing. There's
To
no
the
reason
win
not
this turn.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to mention that
And he got a Frostbolt as well.
Wow, so the priest will have to go up against the Superjj Reno Freeze Mage of Doom
He's gonna go 5-0
in the finals.
if he takes out this priest.
Right.
I'm just trying to imagine the ladder right now. Everybody is gonna play the Reno Jackson on ladder.
And I will be playing
And kill-
double flare. No, it doesn't light up. It doesn't tell you, hey, you happen to have. It doesn't light up orange. I know Reddit loves that stuff.
JJ actually writes all the stuff down. He has a list of the cards, so he can't mess it up. Like he always has it perfect because he crosses out the cards.
It's a grueling deck to play if you're looking to just sit back and relax. But if you really want to get into it, then sure.
I think it's so cool that like JJ is in the final right now, winning versus StanCifka with the new cards. And last SeatStory Cup, it was Orange who brought Druid of the Flame, and he also won in the final with
that was the new
card.
card at the time. Although, Druid of the Flame wasn't doing the most amount of work compared to Reno.
Wasn't that exciting, but still it was a new card and shaking up the metagame.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a good start for StanCifka. He also has a Cabal to steal the Doomslayer.
I think his best cards early on are Valen's Chosen and... It's pretty much
the
probably
Romer
just Valen's
Stagion.
Chosen.
Romer Stagion is really good as well, but it's not that amazing. But it does force the mage to play, ping at some point, which makes it a bit clunky.
Chat is saying, and before Priest goes 5-0.
Guys, he still has a chance. Come on. We see some wild opportunities for Priest to upset people before in the past.
Poor mage is double rip.
Wow. It ripped twice.
Oh, poor little thing. I feel bad, but I don't feel bad.
Chow comes in here because he only has 1 dragon in hand outside of the Twilight Guardian, so he needs to get that buff.
Oh,
Armor
so
Agent's a good draw.
yeah, he gets it on curve, and he can even, if he wants to coin that Guardian next turn. The only problem is that Priest doesn't really have a good way at all to deal with Doomsayers.
What's his way to deal with the Freeze Mage at all? Like, what's the plan, Noxious?
You give him Arcanized Circle, the Arcanized Soul Priest, and when he renos, he just dies.
That is entirely impossible.
It's a dragon.
So you're
Priest.
saying it's impossible.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, the Zombie Chow, what it does do is chop into the armor a bit.
Yeah, he's not damaged yet, so the Zombie Chow will have no downside.
Yeah.
Which is probably why JJ is not in a hurry to kill it, right? You don't have to ping it because it doesn't really matter that much, but on the other hand, you do value the armor.
Well, the fact that you can play Black and Corrupted next turn is really powerful. 5 attack is very strong, and you buff your board to 9 attack total. So I would be in favor of saving the coin here and then just healing your Zombie Chow and passing.
This is exactly the same match that we've seen Ostkaka and Thais play the World Championships. And Thais got really close to winning
Yeah.
With the Priest.
with the Priest.
Yeah, it was a very close game. So it's not impossible. It just takes, I think it was like 1 card away from the win, right?
Yeah.
The top deck took it.
It's definitely up a lot of board tension that's created through these minions. If you can just get 8 to 10 damage per turn, then your opponent they have to draw the right answers at the right time, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I think like this is exactly what it is in this matchup. If Freeze Mage doesn't draw the answers, it can lose. But there is a Doomsayer already.
And there are answers to this deck. I mean, JJ is kind of making Freeze Mage look slightly overpowered here, but there are answers. It's just not in StanCifka's lineup. He has Warrior Band, and he didn't bring Druid, and he doesn't necessarily even have like Hunter that can be good against it. It's like it has a mid-range style.
Right, he doesn't even have a Hunter in his lineup, so...
Right, so...
Definitely not it's not the best lineup at all to go up against Superjj. So starting with the Freeze Mage was also a great call, knowing that it's favored against a lot of things. So you might be able to sweep, maybe you take 2 or 3 wins, but this is beyond what JJ expected, I'm sure.
Oh no, it's starting to really come together though. He's got Flame Strike, which is just so good against Priest. Unless they can get Valence Chosen? Oh.
Not really, not yet. Just the Blackwing Corruptor, which is a great 5-attack minion, but it's really vulnerable to Flame Strike.
Yeah, you're afraid of playing into anything. The thing is, that Reno Jackson decks have to be playing 1 Blizzard, 1 Flame Strike. Like they're not overdoing it on this turn 6 freeze. So maybe you're able to pull off.
And Reno Jackson is so good versus Priest.
You know what needs to happen? Priest needs to actually get Entomb, because then you steal Reno Jackson.
So good.
You steal Reno Jackson.
You still Doomsayer. You still Doomsayer even, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Why not?
Entomb is your answer. You steal Doomsayer, you steal Reno Jackson so that you draw him and you play him against Freeze Mage.
You still the Archmage.
You're probably still dead either way.
Yeah, you probably still lose after that anyway.
Yeah, but it looks cool.
At least you have an answer.
There is the Con of Cold, Doomsayer.
Oh, man.
Super
An
strong.
amazing play here would be Cabal Shadow Priest to delay the
Right.
board explosion immediately. There's unfortunately no way for StanCifka to deal with this. I mean, this feels so bad. Oh.
It does. What Cabal Shadow Priest does do by stealing the Doomsayer is that your opponent can't play anything the following
Right,
turn.
because they can't develop, say, something like Antonidas or Emperor Thorson.
And that counters what Freeze Mage normally does.
But the problem is Cabal Shadow Priest is like his biggest minion, and it's too much of a tempo loss.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Well, Reno Jackson's there, not necessary. He's got the Blizzard into Flame
He's playing it for
Strike.
tempo. It's gonna get stolen by Cabal Shadow Priest and Shrinkmeister.
Not this turn though.
Probably not. In fact,
Pass.
For attack.
Heal the enemy, pass.
In fact, I don't know. He might just tempo the board, just play out everything he can.
Yeah, and hope his opponent doesn't have any AoE.
Well, he can't play the dragon yet because that's his battery. He wants to keep it for the future.
I still think though you would go for the Shrinkmeister Cabal next turn. I still think it's worth.
So do you just pass here, or do you go with the Dark? Like Dark Cultist doesn't do anything.
No, because you're gonna steal that minion. You don't want it to be damaged when you take it. So you might just heal face. Heal the enemy.
Yeah, this is kind of like watching a really old athlete trying to do its farewell tour, but it's like, no, you should have retired like a year ago, man. Like, StanCifka should have just taken the 4-0. Like, this is just such a beatdown.
Yeah, I don't think
You're passing on turn 7. It's like, what? You have no plays because you're going to steal that thing next turn, but he still has Alex and Burn.
Like, honestly, I think this is like the most one-sided matchup is Freeze Mage versus Warrior, where Warrior wins. But this is probably
another
second,
one.
Yeah, another one. For Freeze Mage is so good.
Look at the amount of berry, the torch, the fireball, the frostbolt, the pyroblast. He needs like double light of the Naru here.
Well, that kind of helps, but it doesn't really solve the big thing, which is he's just gonna die to
to burst. There's like too
bunch
much
of burn.
I mean, maybe you want to get the heal in with the Nova. Like you heal yourself and Nova and trade away stuff instead of using the death, because otherwise you're missing out on 2 extra health. But let's be honest, it's still not looking amazing.
Well, he's got 22 damage of 22 direct damage, and he can weave in 2 pings over 2 turns, so that's 24.
Right.
And Priest can heal up to 23
overall, so it's still going to be a one-off. So you need to find Light of the Naru, flash heal, something like that.
There's the Pyroblast, guys.
Second Holy Nova doesn't even do it because he only can do 1 at a time.
Yeah.
But he will stay alive for 1 more turn.
It had to be Lotheb.
Well, that's over, guys.
He can't pop the ice block
either.
No, but what if on the off chance? Oh my God, he's 2 damage off popping ice block. That's so close. Wait, what if he played the Twilight Well Blast?
Last turn instead. Yeah. What if he did?
Oh no!
I think he might have been able to pop it and maybe force.
But there's enough damage.
There's enough damage.
There's
with
12
torch,
damage, guys.
There's like no way he does it. Oh man.
And
But pop the ice block for the moral
Right.
victory.
The thing
He
is,
said he lost, man, but it's like, you needed to pop.
I at least popped the ice block, right? That's something. Well, that's
Wow.
enough. So Superjj.
rushing
Zero.
victory.
That's amazing. The guys are hugging right now. Stan can eat some bananas. We have our winner, SeatStory Cup 4 champion, JJ. Come on, man. Welcome to the desk. We have a mic for you, I think. I think you can take the mic.
Give him the headset. It's gonna be a lot
Headset,
better.
yeah, headset will be much better.
There you go. All right, JJ, lift your right leg for me.
Lift your right leg for Frodan.
Yeah, you're on my cord.
Super Jackson. Super Freeze Jackson.
No, it's Superjj, man. What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It was a nice series.
5-0 sweep. So let's go ahead and start talking about what makes this freeze mage, or like, you know, how does freeze mage come to be about? What gave you the inspiration that Reno Jackson was going to be the deck that helps you from the round 16 onwards?
I don't know. He's a cowboy. He heals you full. What do you want more?
All right,
He's
works
so
for
happy.
me.
Like, look at this.
Sure, all right.
This is the man who heals the full one, like for 6 mana.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what this win means to you. I think this is probably your biggest win yet out of anything. You've been on the cusp of a breakout performance for a while, and I think your stream's been picking up momentum. So how much does the tournament win mean to you specifically?
It means a lot to me, and because I practice a lot. I have like a great practice group, and it's like super amazing for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, StanCifka's a friend of yours as well, as you mentioned. So it was kind of. I'm sure you'll be talking about that later about the match. So I hear a flute in the back.
Yeah, I hear the flute as well.
That's magnificent.
I think this is the victory.
I'm getting
celebrating
emotional,
for you.
guys. I'm getting emotional about this.
All right,
I want to give a really like a shout out
Go.
here
Go.
to all my practice partners, because there are a lot of people in the Hearthstone team who they're not known. Like we have like the Red from fellow esports, just saying he's really one of the best analysts. He's like at your team.
I know, he helped me a lot.
And Stan and RDU, it's like, it helps a lot. If I forgot somebody, I'm sorry. And Crane also. It's like super amazing.
I think it goes a long way to show that StanCifka, who helped you practice for the event, and vice versa, and both of you guys ended up playing in the finals. A job well done, man, and it's really humble of you to be able to thank so many people that really makes this possible.
Such a great victory. You defeated so many great players and so many great casters coming into this tournament, into this win.
Yeah, absolutely, well done. Well, what are you gonna do to celebrate, man? Because you haven't been partying too hard, I think, compared to.
Oh, actually, I was partying quite good.
It's SeatStory Cup, Frodan. Everybody's
I didn't
partying.
see it, man.
Only you were try-harding.
Wow,
Sorry, you missed a couple parties.
feels bad.
JJ didn't.
Feels really bad, man.
Take the trophy.
Next
Congratulations,
Oh,
JJ.
oh yeah, trophy.
SeatStory Cup 4
Oh,
champion.
I totally
Nice.
forgot there was such a thing. I never get those.
Don't worry, Frodan. You will party next time. Congrats to JJ.
Well
Amazing
played.
performance. Well played. That was freeze mage, man. I just want to play it on ladder right now. Get the torch.
The job well done to JJ. I guess he's gonna talk.
I hope so. Maybe not.
SeatStory Cup is like super amazing. It's actually hanging out with friends. It's really cool. Thanks a lot, guys.